Well, let me start by saying I think there's a constant that will continue, and that is that cases are a way of bringing a chunk of reality into the classroom so that it is realistic in capturing what business is really about. That said, there does need to be some thought given to the form of cases, and I see the form of cases changing, and changing in light of the different contexts in which we teach and find ourselves more generally, the different types of classrooms we teach in, and the competing demands for student attention, if not much shorter attention spans. So with those thoughts in mind, let me share 4 different forms of cases. There are more, but 4 different forms of cases that I think we're going to see going forward. So firstly, we've got the traditional long form case of 10 plus pages of text plus exhibits. Now, I do believe that there is value to that form of case study, but I think we're going to see it increasingly less frequently. And so the value, let me just stress, comes from giving students a real depth of information. And in part, it's an opportunity for them to figure out, well, what information is really important? Which numbers do I run in addressing the core decisions in the case? But that requires a lot of time in preparation, 2, 3, perhaps more hours of student preparation, and of course it assumes a lengthy discussion in the classroom. So secondly, I think the dominant form going forward will be the short form case. And this is, we sometimes call it a compact case, so this might be 5 pages, possibly including the exhibits, or maybe 5 pages plus exhibits. But I think this is the form we're going to see more of going forward. It requires less preparation. It can also be given less time within the class for a really full discussion. But there's still plenty to go up there, particularly if it's a case that would apply a framework or a concept. So students can come to the case having thought about a particular framework and then apply that framework within the context of that specific case. And in addition, that form also provides for additional information sources that can be provided. So links to online materials, documents, to videos, and possibly even unique content. So not just what's on the web generally, but unique content, maybe hosted by the Case Center, maybe hosted by the Case Writers Institution, possibly, for example, interviews with case protagonists. Thirdly, I think we're going to see an even shorter form. You might call it a one-pager, so a 1 to 2 page case that is specifically for use and preparation within the class itself. So one big challenge we're facing right now is, well, challenge and opportunity, but the growth of large language models like ChatGPT. And so it's very easy for students to simply plug the case into ChatGPT and get an answer to the case preparation questions without even actually looking at the case and giving it any real thought or analysis. And what the one-pager can do is avoid that problem by having students actually read it in the class and then do the analysis and discussion. And it could be actually a case series, so an A, B, C, D, all of around 1 page that are read in sequence in the class. And finally, then the fourth form that I would want to draw attention to is the case with no written words whatsoever. So this is thinking about video cases. It could be the TikTok style video. I think we're going to increasingly see cases delivered in that way. Or it could be with virtual reality cases. So INSEAD's got a big initiative around developing virtual reality cases. You put the VR headset on and you are deeply immersed in the situation that the case is describing. So it's bringing an element of richness to the case study. It could be, for example, being in the context of a farmer in a developing country at the end of a supply chain producing, say, cocoa or coffee beans. And that technology gives us the opportunity to really see what the life of the farmer is on the ground. So in sum, I think the world's changing, the way in which we teach is changing, the way in which people learn is changing, the audiences are changing, and as a consequence, the case method needs to change, and the form of the case especially needs to change. And I see a scope for a greater variety of the form of cases that are out there. And this means, I think, exciting times for case writers and case teachers, and indeed for students.